Oh, okay. Here we go. Are we all good on the sound? Can you guys read me? We're good? We're all good? Okay. So, hi everybody. This is Ziggy Simpson, and today I'd like to talk to you about my new channel. And when I say new, I mean deleting my oldest videos on my channel and starting it over from scratch. But you're probably asking, why would I do something like this? Well, I believe I should explain myself. 1. I was being lazy, as in I was not motivated by the looks of this channel at all. 2. I did not know how to be a YouTuber or otherwise an awesome content creator, but I'm learning. 3. I have a lot more potential hidden away inside me that I haven't even begun to show you guys yet. 4. I'm figuring myself out, which is hard when your brain hasn't fully developed yet and you're trying to start a full-time studio. I'll explain that soon. And 5. I have an entire future ahead of me that I'm really excited about starting this summer, and I would love for you guys to be part of it. That I'll also explain soon. So if any of you have seen the trailer for my channel, which has blown the minds of some of my friends and maybe you felt the same way, then you can kind of see what my motives might be. This includes who to connect with, what games to play I haven't really played yet, and most importantly, what to make. And I kind of wanted the trailer to show these motives. Plus I even got this shiny filmmaking badge for it. The trailer itself, however, was animated entirely in Procreate, with each segment edited in CapCut and finally pieced together in iMovie. It was a pretty tedious process, but it was all worth it in the end. But the music, it was made in GarageBand and Logic Pro, and it's the first piece of music I've completed in these 2 compatible programs. And I love the way it turned out. But aside from that, since it was done in Procreate, I'll admit the quality isn't at its finest, but it is really something. And do expect more content in the future with higher quality, since I'm going to be learning some other programs like 2 Boom Harmony and DaVinci Resolve. Anything to make this a better channel. Wait. I know some of you who already subscribed to me in the first place are still asking, why didn't I delete my channel in the first place instead of deleting all my videos? How could I do such a thing? Well, if I was going to delete my videos, that meant I had to lose the people I subscribed to and lose all my liked videos, so I certainly didn't want to do that. In the end, I took the easy way out and deleted the videos I put on my channel. So, sorry for anyone that liked them. I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I have an entire future ahead of me I'm planning to start this summer, and I want my channel to be about that. Kind of. But, what about my future, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you right now that we all come from humble beginnings. We all start small, and I certainly did. I started drawing when I was a year old, and that was also happening when I was teaching myself how to read at 2. Which led to me having some art classes in my first few years of elementary school, which made my art improve a bit, leading me to make my first character design, Mr. Monk. And during my next couple of years, I started making my own comics, which I published for my class, and a lot of kids liked it. My inspiration was Dav Pilkey and Jim Davis, 2 of the most well-known minds of my time as a child. And then there was middle school. My art style started to change a bit, following the inspiration of Don Martin, one of Mad Magazine's maddest artists. And then eventually switched over to following a more anime/manga type style, as you can see in the sketchbook, though it doesn't quite follow it exactly. But at the end of middle school, I was sufficiently learning how to use Procreate. And a lot of other things led me up to today, following the influences of cartoons, video games, comics, and much more. So basically, it's pop culture that made me who I am today. So I cut my teeth on a lot of these things, and it slowly eased me into becoming a better artist/animator. Like this animation of Kirby I made for my animation class in middle school. I slowly became better at what I liked doing, and all that led up to the trailer I made for this channel. It's also worth mentioning that I also did some Scratch coding back in the day under the moniker Sonic Mario Kirby Mega X, which sounds pretty long to be username now that I think about it. But anyway, it was kind of a step in game development. I used to remix a lot of projects for no reason or change without knowing that you could favorite them, and that led to watching tutorials to make my projects better, and, well, posting my projects in the community was a pretty big step forward. Another thing I should mention is that when I was younger, I was making short films with an app called Stikbot Studio on an old phone, which was about animating with these stop-motion figures called stikbots. As you can see, you can put them in any pose imaginable, and you can make them stick to stuff. And I still have the old set. But I didn't limit my stop-motion skills to just that. I also did a bit of claymation on it as well, when I was interested in Aardman Studios, which was this claymation studio in England, and they were my inspiration as a child to make my own series of very short stop-motion films, complete with voice acting. So it gave me a taste of creating my own animated series on my own. They weren't good, but they were a start. Except I didn't post them on an online platform like YouTube. I didn't have the ability to do that at the time. In fact, I haven't immersed myself in this for a decade now, and now that I'm doing it, I feel like my eyes are finally open. So all this is a new world for me that I'm settling into after being away from it for quite a long time. But while on the topic of animated series, it's worth mentioning that I'm attempting to create my own indie animated series right now. And let me say this right now before I explain it. Finding time to work on this while managing a channel and being in a team with autism can be really hard. Especially if it's a passion project that you're so eager to create. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to figure out. Also, none of the decisions I make are gonna be set in stone, really. Like right now, I'm thinking of posting one video here every 2 weeks so I can get my work done and take care of myself as well, but that might change. If I get a lot done in these 2 weeks, then I could try to post as much as I can every 2 weeks. And the same goes for my series. Not everything is set in stone, but if it's possible, it could happen. But, to summarize the idea for the series in 3 words, it would be alternate life story. Now, if you don't know what that means, well, it's kind of a genre where basically someone takes their life story and gives it a twist, either following it along the line or changing it completely. A good example would be The Fablemans, directed by Steven Spielberg himself. Most of this film was about his fantasized life story, though I personally don't see any fantasy involved, but it's still a really good movie. You might as well check it out. But I'm doing the same he did to my own series, except instead of following along the lines like Spielberg did, I'm changing it completely. But I still end up the same person that I am in real life. And it's also completely fantasized, which explains why you'd be able to see some anthropomorphic animals in this world, including fantasy creatures. It's hard to explain, but it's a sort of world relatable to Dungeons and Dragons, except in modern times. But I don't want to bore you with these kinds of details, so let me get right to the point. The story of my indie animated series revolves around my alternate fantasy life story, set mainly in my teen years, where I, aka my persona, have been blessed with godlike demon powers since I've said to be some kind of hero throughout the multiverse. But the word has been spread to some evil parts of the multiverse as well. So some dark entities attacked my family, as in me and my parents, when we were moving from New York to California. I was the only one who survived. An attack happened unexpectedly, so there was no one around to take me in at the time. I had to live alone in the streets, being taught by my astral advisors, giving me all the information I needed to become super smart when I became older. And that's just part of my origin story, which has already been written. But the premise of all this is sort of based on the Steven Universe and Avatar trilogies, and also has a lot of other different elements to them, as you can see in Disney movies, including shows such as Amphibia, Beastars, and The Owl House, among others. It's also done in a style related to traditional animation, like you would see in 90s Disney movies and more. The themes, however, are a bit different than you'd expect. The story would still revolve around growing up as someone who's autistic with godlike powers, while still trying to be the hero the universe sees you as, but there's more to it than that. So that's why I want to bring up the topic about these themes.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of them tend to be good, but it also deals with serious subjects like suicide and sensitive topics like sex, among other things. But let me be clear, even though it may seem like I'm putting mature themes in there, I'm making it so this whole story would be about maturing as you get older, which is mainly what the show is about, even if it seems a little similar to an animated superhero movie or an anime, since there are some aspects.
However, there's one thing missing from this equation, and that's you! Because this series is also collaborative not only with people involved in the series, but also the people who watch it. But is this me being lazy? No, not at all.
You see, YouTube relies a lot on what viewers want. I mean, a lot. So I figured I could hear ideas from other people like you and try to incorporate them in there, make sure they have a part in the show as well. So I could listen into what you guys want for the series and understand your perspectives, and in turn, you could get a series you'd enjoy. But that's not all. Some viewers could get a lucky chance to have a cameo in there as well, if they know how to draw their characters, and or act as their characters or some other person. However, if said viewers are wanting to be part of the show, as in actually working on it, then they could become series canon, whether big or small.
Sounds fun, right? Well, that's something I like to call team building. I mean, you know I can't work on this entire thing by myself since the trailer for my channel took a while to create on my own. Which is why everything's going to be a collaborative effort, including the scripts, the animation, and a lot more. And I'm going to pitch in as much as I can too, since I'm leading the whole damn thing.
I don't know how else I would be able to explain everything, but the point is, I'm trying to create a collaborative indie animated series in a relatably traditional animation style, like a 90s Disney movie, and I could merchandise this series with indie games, toys, plushies, and other things. And still, I would love to get as much help as I could with all these kinds of talented people out there, like you, of course, that could be able to help make this dream a reality. Not only with people I know, or the people watching this video, but other people across the globe. It would all be a collaborative effort with a building team of people, and I would love to share as much of this as I can with them in this sort of fantasy coming-of-age story, and I would love to work with them on other things in the future.
But the real reason I'm making this channel is because, well, I feel misunderstood. Like I said, I haven't been online for as long as you guys have. There are just so many other people who think I'm a bright kid, but nobody can see the world the way I see it. I just want to get my perspective out there.
But I've been misunderstood so many times in the online world, and even though I was trying so hard to be the best person I can be, I feel like I wasn't getting what I really meant across, and a lot of people took it the wrong way. The reason why is, well, again, I'm autistic, and my brain works incredibly fast, but I can't verbalize or type as quickly as my thoughts, thus causing me to say things I don't mean. There's even this past between a few people who have aspired me to be a better creator, which I'll talk about in the fantasized story.
But still, more than anything, I would love to be part of an accepting community, or be able to build one myself. I respect everybody and anybody. People's identity doesn't matter to me. I just judge based on people's personality and or actions. And that's it. These are my standards. But don't hate me for this. I just want to be careful with my videos and have them suitable for, well, mostly teens and adults. Not younger kids. Same with the communities I join. Speaking of the videos I'm trying to make though, well, I want them to be entertaining. That basically means animation, gaming, acting, and pretty much anything else I feel like doing to entertain you guys. It's mostly going to be art and animation since I like doing that kind of stuff, and also because I'm going to be posting episodes of my indie animated series on here as well, along with a lot of other creative stuff that I'm passionate about, but it's also going to be me being myself. Like my voiceover reel. I'm going to post that on here.
Also, there are a lot of games that I want you guys to see me playing. There are original songs and music I want to create, and I also want to make some videos that allow you to see my perspective on things. Something you can see a lot on YouTube, but for me, it depends. I mean, I love being myself, especially on a channel like this. But a guy who's working hard on his channel should also be taking care of his body and health after all. And I'm still in high school. So if I don't post anything in an allotted time, like 2 weeks, I might be really busy with stuff, and I want you guys to understand that I'm working hard on my content.
But still, even if it doesn't seem like I've been a good person at times, I can tell you that I really have a good heart, and I want to prove it. And I can tell you right now that I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, but I want to fix them. So that's why I'm making this channel. I want people to see me for who I really am, especially people like you. I'm even willing to make some new friends and join some supportive communities so I can find people who accept me for who I am.
As for this indie animated series I'm striving to create, I'm trying to find ways to fund it and start building a team for it, and make it the best it can possibly be, as if it was another Steven Universe or something. And I certainly have some stuff to show for it, like the brainstorming document, my YEP form, and of course, my origin story, which I'll link in the description so you can see for yourselves and tell me what you think of it. After all, this is a collaborative series, so you can put in some ideas for it so it can flow into the final script.
And there's also this character design in mind for the main character, which originally looked like this. I wasn't sure about it, so I sent it to a friend of mine who's also an animator, and he sent me this design, which I'll use for him in the pilot, or most likely the origin story. And that led to what he looks like now, as you can see in the profile picture. As you can see, this personification of myself, which you just saw, looks a lot older than his younger design, which will be used throughout the rest of the series. All I have to do is make the character design for that, so I don't think there's going to be any pressure there. I'm going to work on some other characters too, but the rest of the cast will be up to the team I'll be assembling.
And it's worth mentioning that there's a lot of other stuff to be done as well, like a trailer for the Kickstarter page, once it exists, and the decisions about who to hire for animation, music, sound design, and much more. It's true I can do all these things, but I can't really do them alone, so it's going to be a lot of worthwhile work. Even for me, since I'm old enough to get a job. I'd most likely want to work on indie games, different indie shows, or other people's passion projects so I can advance my skills. But I may change my mind. Besides, I'd love to show you what I've done for them as well as the process for it.
But otherwise, I'd be posting stuff to keep a good reputation, to keep you guys entertained, and allow you to see some stuff through my eyes. One more thing though. If you know any communities or jobs that could fit my liking, assuming that you've been listening to me, then let me know in the comments and I'll think about it. Anyway, that's all I gotta say for now. Thanks for taking your time to listen to this, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Just remember, creation is yours and you can be part of it. Okay, bye!